A guard's hand freezes on his weapon. There's a sound coming from the visitor's coat. Low, rasping, alive. Everyone around the checkpoint goes quiet. Whatever it is, it shouldn't be there. But the man in the coat doesn't panic. He doesn't run. He just reaches into his pocket, slow and calm, and pulls out an old, cracked watch. On the back, 3 words are engraved. We are all equal. The guard stares at it for a long second. Then he laughs, waves the man through, and turns back to his post. He has no idea what just walked past him. He has no idea what's sewn into the lining of a teddy bear 10 feet away. And he has no idea that the man he just let go is about to burn the world he serves to the ground. This is Leyon. And this is where it all goes wrong for everyone who ever called him disposable. 65 years ago, the world ended. Nuclear fire swept the planet, and when the smoke cleared, humanity split into 2 species wearing the same face. The genetics, engineered, enhanced, born stronger and smarter by design. And the specials, everyone else. Ordinary humans whose bodies simply reject the upgrades. In this new world, ordinary is a death sentence. Specials are corralled into ruined districts, watched by guards, and treated as leftovers of a species that already won. Leyon is one of them. A janitor, paraplegic, invisible. He mops the floors of the Genesis Institute, the most powerful research facility on Earth, and nobody there looks at him twice. That's exactly how he wants it. Because Leyon isn't just a janitor. He's been planning this day for a long time. A group of students tours the lab, and their guide walks them past the thing that built this entire civilization. The Genesis flower, a mutant plant born from radioactive ash, capable of generating more energy than every power plant on the old planet combined. It's priceless. It's untouchable. It's sitting behind reinforced glass with 2 armed guards in front of it. And Leyon is about to take it. His adoptive sister Chloe is planted in the tour group. While the guide lectures the students on genetic superiority, Leyon slips through a side door with a hacked badge and a toy mouse packed with sleeping gas. He rolls it toward the guards. They pick it up out of curiosity. 10 seconds later, they're unconscious on the floor. He rigs a canister into the building's oxygen system, and one by one, every scientist in the lab drops where they stand. It's working. It's actually working. Until he hits a locked door with a keypad he has no code for. Back with the tour group, a genetic student sneers at the specials, calling them waste, saying they should be thrown out with the rest of the trash. Chloe doesn't hesitate. She's in his face in seconds, and the argument turns into a full brawl that pulls in every guard in the room, including the one whose jacket pocket holds a notebook full of security codes. While he's busy prying 2 teenagers apart, Chloe lifts it clean. The whole fight was never about the insult. It was the distraction. She feeds Leyon the code. The door opens, and there it is, a glass dome holding a single tree, glowing faintly, heavy with flowers that shouldn't exist. He cuts a sample free. The alarm detonates a second later. Now every exit is a checkpoint, and Leyon has a stolen fragment of the most guarded organism on the planet sitting in his coat. So he does the only thing that makes sense. He walks straight into the search line. He accidentally bumps into Chloe, drops her teddy bear, and while picking it up, tucks the sample inside the stuffing. Nobody sees it. Nobody except us. But the coat is still growling. The flower's alive, and it's reacting to him. That's the sound the guard hears. That's the moment we opened on. And that's the watch that saves his life. Because the guard reads we are all equal, decides a sentimental special isn't worth his time, and lets him walk. They're out. They're clear. They have the one thing that could change everything. That night, in a hidden lab built into their ruined house, Leyon starts extracting a compound from the flower, while Chloe experiments with crossbreeding the plant's genetics into something new. Word spreads fast in the special district. There's a guy who can fix your busted prosthetic, charge your gear, build you armor from scratch. Business booms. For a while, it almost feels like they're getting ahead. Then the phone rings. A cook from the genetics district, exosuit fried, offering triple pay if Leyon comes now. Chloe says absolutely not. Specials don't walk into that district and walk back out. Leyon goes anyway. He always does. He's mid-repair when the doors blow open. Masked men flood the restaurant. No warnings, no demands, just violence. The cook, wearing his freshly repaired suit, runs out to help and comes back seconds later bleeding out on the floor. With his last breath, he gives them one word: anti-genetics. Then he's gone. The exit's sealed. Security is closing in. And Leyon, cornered, does the one thing he's never been able to do his entire life. He puts on the cook's exosuit and stands up on his own legs. There's no time to feel it. The masked squad sweeps into the kitchen, and for a moment, it looks like they'll miss the 2 people hiding behind the counter, until the suit glitches and yanks Leyon upright in full view. The leader gives the order to kill him. Leyon fights back instead, and in the chaos he lands a hit that knocks the leader's mask loose for just a second. Just long enough to see the scar underneath. He and Chloe barely make it home, and that's when the news does the one thing that can ruin them completely. It shows security footage of both of them at the massacre. They're not witnesses anymore. They're suspects. Then the broadcast cuts to Captain Hughes, head of the Special Forces, giving a statement on the Specials District Terror Cell. Leyon knows that face. He knows that scar. Captain Hughes, the man hunting specials on television, is the man who led the attack. It clicks all at once. Stage the violence. Blame the specials. Let the fear do the rest, until the public is ready to accept anything done to contain them. And if Hughes needs a bigger spark to finish the job, there's one target big enough. Myra, the district's biggest star, the one genetic who actually shows up for special fans, and she's performing tonight. Leyon's answer to all of this is to tell Chloe to pack a bag and run. Just the 2 of them, gone, tonight. Chloe looks at him like she's never seen him before. Thousands of people could die, and his plan is to disappear. She calls him a coward and walks out the door, and for the first time, the accusation actually lands. So he builds something new. Same armor, but wired straight into the Genesis flower itself as a living power core. Thorns, roots, poison, all of it grown and grafted directly into the frame. Chloe comes home to find him testing it, stumbling, falling, refusing to stop. She doesn't say a word. She just sits down and starts wiring her own plant-based weapons into the suit. That night, the anti-genetics ambush Myra after her show. Before they can drag her off the stage, a hooded figure drops from the rooftop in armor stitched with living flowers. They laugh at him for about 3 seconds. Then the thorns come out. Poison leaves, grasping roots. A masked stranger fighting like the building is already on fire. Chloe pulls Myra clear, steals a car, and comes back for Leyon mid-fight, and the three of them vanish into the special district before backup arrives. Myra wakes up in a ruined house being treated by a special she was told to fear, and Leyon tells her everything. Hughes, the massacre, the frame job. And that's when the TV tells them what's coming next. Senator Kessler, promising to find the kidnapped Myra before he unveils Proposal 42, a compound that claims it can finally turn specials into genetics. If Hughes is going to strike again, it's there. Leyon and Myra go in as a couple applying for genetic screening, Leyon disguised well enough to walk past his own reflection. When the room fills with staff distracted by a surprise performance, he slips away, suits up, and meets the anti-genetics head-on. Alone, outnumbered, and this time, it isn't enough. They overwhelm him, tear off his mask, and start beating him in front of everyone. Then government agents storm the building and the attackers scatter. Senator Kessler arrives, and the look on his face isn't political. It's a father's. Kessler is Leyon's father. Myra had already called him. And that single revelation blows the whole night apart, because when Chloe arrives and sees Leyon standing next to the senator, she doesn't see a rescue. She sees a betrayal. She leaves before anyone can explain, and Kessler steps in front of the cameras to turn his half-dead son into a campaign ad, proof that specials deserve the gift of Proposal 42. Recovering in his father's private facility, Leyon isn't grateful. He remembers exactly how his mother died chasing a cure like this one. Kessler, cornered by his own guilt, hands him her final letter, words asking Leyon to forgive his father and to help the people the world discarded. It almost works. Almost. Then Myra pulls him outside to a camp full of specials waiting for treatment, and there's Chloe, finally ready to apologize. They patch things up fast, because there's no time left. Proposal 42's real data is locked inside the lab, and volunteers are already being taken in. Chloe crawls through a ventilation shaft with a stolen camera and starts recording. What she catches isn't medicine. It's a machine, tearing material directly out of a volunteer's brain, and Kessler, standing right beside it, explaining to Hughes exactly how the cure works. Harvested from specials, and it does nothing for them. It never could. The only person Kessler ever actually wanted to save was his own son, and every volunteer in that room is just raw material for that one goal. Hughes, a man who spent this entire film hunting specials, asks the obvious question: what happens to the volunteers afterward? Kessler's answer doesn't need embellishing. Expendable. Chloe runs the footage straight back to camp. Myra is sick with guilt for ever trusting the senator. But Leyon's already past grief and into a plan. Get the recording to the authorities through the control room, retake his armor, and rally every special in the camp to hold the line while Chloe hacks the broadcast. Kessler visits him the next morning, all smiles, cure supposedly ready. Leyon throws off the blanket to reveal he's already suited up and has him by the throat before he can finish the sentence. He doesn't need a confession. He gets one anyway. Kessler admits he never accepted his son as a special, that everything, every volunteer, every death, was in service of erasing that one fact. Leyon's reply is short. He's not the one who needed fixing. Then it's just the fight. Chloe locks herself in the control room to force the recording out to every screen in the country. Leyon suits up and walks straight into Hughes and an army of anti-genetic soldiers at the camp. And for a while it looks like the armor isn't enough. Hughes is stronger, faster, and puts him through a glass dome protecting the very flower that started this whole story. Bleeding on the floor of a shattered greenhouse, Leyon grabs the flower with his bare hand. It doesn't just power the suit. It reacts to threat directly, driving poison thorns straight into Hughes before he can land the final blow. At the exact same moment, Chloe's signal goes out. Government forces flood the facility. Proposal 42 is dead. An arrest order goes out for Senator Kessler, and he's already gone, slipping out the one door nobody thought to watch. Weeks later, the walls between districts come down. Specials walk streets they were never allowed on. Nobody knows who the masked man in the footage really is, and Leyon, Chloe, and Myra are more than happy to keep it that way, walking through a city they quietly rebuilt from the inside. But somewhere off camera, in the last few seconds of the film, a figure watches them from the shadows, face still hidden. Kessler used his own cure on himself, and whatever he became, he isn't finished, not with the world, and not with his son.